This podcast is recorded at the Zone Gym studio.
You're listening to the Raw Reality Podcast hosted by Tori Story and Fit with Lily. Lily, how are you going?
Whoa, we are getting straight into it.
Yes.
My adrenaline is pumping today.
It is. So she comes home, drops her laptop.
I don't know how it didn't shatter. I have good karma.
Then there's a massive black spider on her banana in the pantry.
And I'm screaming for no reason.
Holding Ziggy, screaming, running, throwing shoes.
Just like talking really fast. Like it
That's
feels like
not
my
new.
heart rate is like constantly 150 today, but not in a bad way. Like I'm feeling quite good. So it feels like I've had 2 ghost energy cans, but I have not.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I feel the complete opposite.
Yeah,
my
you
heart
do.
rate's probably at 10.
About to actually drop dead.
No, just really tired. But I stayed up working till 11, so it's my own fault.
And then you got up at 5.
Yeah.
Silly girl.
Well, I kind of thought I was like, get up. Z needed to go to the beach. I owed him that. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, go to the gym. And then I was like, no, like, I'm so sorry. I need a rest day. And then I was like, oh, I actually can train tomorrow before my flight and Friday. So
Kind of didn't need to
could
get
have
up that
slept
early.
in. But anyway, we're here. We're thriving. We're happy. I love you. And let's go.
You love me.
Well, them, but you too.
Thanks so much. Okay, let's get straight into our realities for the week.
Let's do it.
I have a giant list and Tori has 1 sentence.
Mine says nothing but work with the face.
Elaborate?
Quite literally have done nothing but work, except for 2 other points that we'll get into on Lily's major list. But I literally am just like, train, work, eat, work, sleep, work, walk,
No sleep.
work.
No sleep, just
No,
work.
no sleep, just work. Yeah, purely because we had a shoot and then about 4 days until the first reel from that shoot has to go live. And there's about 20 reels to go live from that shoot. And I want them all scheduled. And
She goes to Melbourne.
I also have another business that just needs to run. So, like, just working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a slay. We are in that season and the weather
Yeah.
has permitted you to do that at the moment.
It has.
So that is fun.
It's been good.
I said to Tori this morning, I feel like I have way more in my update this week than I did in the whole like summer recap.
January, yeah.
I don't know why, but I do. So let's start. Thursday, we go to Sydney together.
We do. We did.
White Fox event. They flew us to Sydney, which is just absolutely wild. Like never in my wildest dreams would I think White Fox would fly me.
Yeah, I know. And it happened all so fast. Like,
So fast.
they invited me, it was like right before you signed with Vibe, I think.
Yes.
And then I was like, I'm not going, like, I'm not flying down for the day. And then my manager was like, no, they're flying you. And I was like, well, then I'll go, please. Like, obviously I wanted to go to the event, but it just wasn't, like, feasible for that time. And then literally next week they messaged Lily and they were like, yep, you're on the flight with Tori. See you there. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
We get to Sydney and it's literally like this massive wedding venue that was, I was about to say dressed up, fitted out as like this big dollhouse.
It reminded me almost like of Pretty Little Liars, the last season in a dollhouse.
Yeah.
Didn't give creepy vibes, but that's
Yeah.
what vibe it gave me.
And it was like pink, Pilates, ballerina, princess, high tea, like just stunning. And
Yeah.
so like vintage and just obviously it was all like, it was for their wellness collection. So it was all pinks and like hot pinks and not hot pinks, but like maroon pinks and blacks and whites. And it was just stunning.
It was gorgeous and everyone there was so nice. We did Pilates, humbled again.
Yeah, that was hard.
It was so hard.
Really
that was
hard.
actually probably the hardest Pilates class I've done.
Yeah, it'd be up there for me.
Yeah. So it was such a fun day.
It was.
It was the best. Then that morning, I actually got a skin infection.
She did.
Now, I'm convinced Kade gave me this. It was a variation of staph. So Kade does BJJ now, and he's like rolling constantly on the ground, sweaty, disgusting boy. And that is like feeding, was it called feeding ground? I don't know. That's not the right word.
not
But
sure.
there is like basically so much stuff that can come from that, which is absolutely disgusting. And anyways, he got it on like his chin area, took antibiotics, cleared in 1 day. So if that week I woke up with like looks like a tiny little blister or like pimple on my back. And then from there I'm like, no, Kate, it's really hurting. Like it is so sore. And he's like, Lily, it's literally a dot. Like relax. I'm like, nah, it's so sore. And then I woke up and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day until it turned out like this massive blister scab on my back. And then the morning of White Fox, I didn't even have anything on my face. There may have been the slightest faint red scar. Then we get on the plane, we're doing our makeup, and I look up, and I'm like, oh my God, Tori, look at my like chin or my cheek, oh no, my neck, and there was like this other blister on my neck that just kept getting worse throughout the day. And I was like, what the hell is happening? So I went to the doctors the next day, and they said that obviously most likely Kade gave it to me because apparently it was extremely contagious. And I think he told me it wasn't or something, but he definitely gave it to me. And then I got antibiotics. And the antibiotics fucked me.
Yeah.
I just like, I
Yes,
don't remember
do.
the last time I've taken antibiotics, but it has seriously stuffed up my gut so much.
But it's like one of those things where like that sort of stuff you like, what else are you meant to do?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even know what to do.
You can't really heal that naturally.
Yeah.
And then it started to get like, I did not think the antibiotics were working. And then all of a sudden yesterday, I knocked it and the whole like thing just came off and it's just fresh skin under. And I was like, oh, it's done. So anyways, we had to kind of do that with our shoot on Saturday, and it's in quite a few shots, which you guys would probably see, but can't really do anything about it.
We did well to cover it up though. It's probably one shot in like maybe like 3 videos. You can see it,
literally.
Like,
and at the end of the day, it's literally not that bad at all.
Yeah.
So it's so fine.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then on Sunday, Kade started jiu-jitsu, which is BJJ. And let me tell you, it's terrifying to watch. Like so scary. Like basically like big grown men trying to
wrestle each other.
Yeah, wrestling each other and trying to either choke them out or nearly break a bone that they have to tap out. I'm like, why the fuck would you choose this sport? Anyways, Kate's been training for 3 weeks and decides to enter a comp. And I'm like, here we fucking go. And with jiu-jitsu, if you tap out in the first 30 seconds, that's your whole day done. Like, you're done. So he was like, I just want to like last a little bit. I'm like, dude, you have been training for 3 weeks. You're in the heavyweight class, which is over 100 kilos. There's another guy who's 130 kilos, been doing it for 2 years. Like, actually, good luck to you. I was still positive. Like, he has come from a rugby background. The first guy, he makes tap out in a minute. So Kade actually won the first round. And I was like, oh, okay. I think that calmed my nervous system. The second round was a 130 kilo guy that just like, Kade held his own the whole time. So he lasted the whole 5-minute round. He only lost by 2 points because the other guy got him on the ground. But they were all so impressed that he'd only been training for 3 weeks. So that's his new sport. He loves it. And it was very funny because him and Cody got a full, like, Jackson to film the whole entire day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they have a professional photographer, videographer following them around for their very first comp. And, like, classic. It feels really clean. And it was actually a really fun day. Do you have anything else? Do you want me to keep going?
You just keep going.
Okay. I had another kinesiologist session.
She did.
On Monday with Corey, and she's so beautiful. There's been a few things coming up with me, and I was like, I just feel like pulled to book in for another session. And if you're at our event, it's the same girl who spoke there. And this time, it was really interesting. Different things came up in comparison to last time. And this one was all about, like, people pleasing. And I'm constantly living in the future. So that's why I think I'm always, like, highly stressed, highly anxious because I'm actually not present in this moment. I never think that, like, right now is safe because I'm constantly thinking about what can I do now to help myself in the future, or what can I do now to make myself feel safe in the future and protect my heart as well. So the biggest thing, there was, like, a few things going around it, but it was Tori and Kade that came up. And basically my body, like, I don't personally, but my body feels like that I can't live without them. So if anything, so interesting. If anything happens, it feels like I will die without them. So the second, like, she started making me, like, say these things about Tori and Kade, my neurological pathway started, like, switching, and my body would, like, seize up. A yes and a no would switch, or they wouldn't move at all. And so my body got confused. So it did not want to, like, fall into that. And I kept saying it, my body would not relax. By the end, my body could live without Tori, so I'm so sorry about that one. But I still couldn't live without Kade, which I think's fair.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone wants to live without their partner, but it's more so coming from a place of, like, not desperation.
Yeah.
So it's like if conflict does arise.
It's like I don't want to live without them, but, like, I can.
Yes, that's what it is. But I feel like I will die.
Yes. It's really
which
dramatic.
I won't. But that was the main thing. The second main thing that we worked through was a lot of like environmental things were coming up. And she was like, what the fuck is this? Like, she's talking like lead, mercury, because she was asking like my body all these questions and all of like these chemical pathways came up. And Corey was like, I'm a bit confused, but we're going to keep going deeper and deeper. And she was like, your body is giving like, it's telling you that you have chronic fatigue. It's constantly working overdrive. Your like liver or kidney, it was one of them, like is really stressed and something. She's like, oh, you obviously drink filtered water, right? And I was like, no. She literally nearly had a heart attack. She was like, oh my God, you don't drink filtered water. And I just never really, like, I knew it's not as good for you, but I've like never really thought it was like dramatic. And
I've tried.
She has
I've
tried.
tried. It's okay.
So anyways, basically, I need to drink filtered water. After about 5 years of Tori telling me, we're doing one step at a week. It was journaling, filtered water, who knows what's going to be next.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm never allowed to drink tap water again in any form. And my body will feel so much better. So I'm very interested to see how that goes.
Are you starting to notice the taste now?
I can't at home, but I could at Corey's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. She gave me filter water and tap water, and I didn't know which one was like basically like which, and my body responded completely different to both of them, which is just crazy.
Yeah. You'll become a water snob soon.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few other things that came out of that, but for the most part, go book Kinesiology. It's
I'm
so
going
much fun.
in on Monday.
Yeah, I'm interested. Oh, after.
Yes.
After. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have two more things. If you told me like last year, I'm going to say actually even 6 months ago, that I would have a boyfriend, be invited to a Define dinner and be speaking to their owner with all these other girls that I used to look up to, like, so I still look up to, but like used to look up to so much, I would have like actually been gobsmacked. But that was me last night. And it was just like fun to be in a room with like different type of people and also like someone who's such an incredible business owner. Like literally Kade Define sponsors Zone Gym. So he got invited to this dinner and then I came along. And just like speaking about them like with business and things like that, their mind just works in such a different way. And it was really cool to be like in a room with people who like make you feel expanded as well. So that was just crazy. And then finally, Kade booked a few days away in a tiny home next week. Yes. In like a little house, which I'm so excited for. I think as well because prep is coming up in like honestly 11, 10 weeks. So from there, we won't really be able to go away much until the end of the year. So he had 3 days off zone for Valentine's Day and we're like, let's go away for 2 nights. So I'm so excited.
Are you flying or driving?
Driving. Coffs Harbour. I didn't realize how far it was.
Yeah.
So far.
That's
it's like 3
wondering.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we'll drive. Yeah. So we have a car.
Yeah. Feel good?
Yeah, it feels great. That was my updates.
Yeah, I don't really have much for you. Like I said, I've been working, doing all the things, health, fitness training, going through a challenging time, kind of.
It's like, how do you put it? It's like it's a decision. Yeah. That's weighing a lot on you.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm not going to speak to it because it is very personal for now. You guys can know post-decision has been made, which will be soon. But yeah, there's just been something kind of, a bomb that's been dropped in my world.
She's still dating Jackson and Ziggy's still good. We're all good.
So don't worry about that. We're still happy. It's like, I don't even know. It's not business. Anyway. Big bomb. Good bomb.
Good bomb. Great bomb.
Pros and cons to both. Just a lot. There's a lot to navigate, a lot to think about, a lot to weigh up. So it's just I'm trying to just get through the weekend, focus on that, and then just see what happens.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
So
other than that, I would say my appetite's dropped and I'm pretty well constantly nauseous. The nervous system's a little bit fried.
I can feel like I can tell your nervous system's fried. Yeah. Like it's very like
between like working flat out.
Yeah.
And then having this on my shoulders, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So you guys will find out more later on, but I'm just trying to navigate it on my own for now.
Guys, you asked and we delivered. Reboot is back and better than ever.
You guys absolutely loved our first round of this last year in 2024. We had over 600 of you sign up It is our 6-week challenge of fitness and mindset and really focusing on elevating your lifestyle.
There are 2 different programs you can choose from, either an at-home workout utilizing dumbbells or your body weight, and then also one in the gym focusing on strength. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, these workouts are made for you.
There is also 6 weeks of mindset modules, which include videos and a workbook for you to complete over the 6 weeks of the challenge.
And we can't forget about our beautiful community. There is a platform for all of us to interact on, celebrating your wins, navigating your challenges, so we can all support each other.
If this is calling your name, it is time to enroll now. We start this challenge on the 3rd of March. Everything you need to know and to enroll is in the link in the description below. But nonetheless, let's get into the episode.
Yes.
We are over a month into the 2025, and something we spoke about last year and something that we're super passionate about is New Year's resolutions and how we don't agree with them. And I used to be so big on New Year's resolutions, and I feel like you were as well.
Yeah.
And just on like new year, new me. And I really love the trend of probably the last 2 years that's come in is like new year, better me. And it's not about being a different version of yourself or changing completely everything. It's just about bettering what was last year. And sure, you might have had a really shit year and you want to change absolutely everything. That can be true, but it doesn't need to mean doesn't mean that you need to like completely just think that January 1st everything will change. And so that's been something that Lily and I have really stepped into probably the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Of just like trying to better our life no matter what day of the year it is.
Yeah. And of course, the start of the year can feel like a fresh start, and of course it does. Like there's a few things that I've implemented at the start of the year, but it wasn't Jan 1st.
Yeah.
It was probably like 2 or 3 weeks after the start of the year when it felt right to do so. I knew that there was a few things I wanted to implement this year, but it doesn't mean that I'm waking up Jan 1st, completely flipping my life in 180 and doing all these things, because that is going to be unrealistic.
Yeah.
We want to speak about why you've probably given up your New Year's resolutions by now. And I think the biggest one is just like setting unrealistic goals or just being way too vague.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to have a 6-pack by the end of this year. Okay, like what does that look like? Of course, you're probably not going to achieve that, or you're going to fall off the bandwagon because it's not specific enough. You need to give yourself like actionable steps to actually be able to do it.
And if you don't know what it takes to get a 6-pack, how the fuck are you going to get one?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to make $10,000. Doing what?
Yeah.
It's not just going to land in your lap. So it's like you need to break these goals down. You can have those vague goals, but if you have to, whoa, she's really, really glitching. I'm so sorry, guys. If you have those vague goals, that's fine, but you need to break them down and know that the steps that you need to get there, or you simply just need to simplify your goals, and not in a way of like making those goals not as big, but they need to be like, what's the word? Specific. I was thinking simple. I'm like, no, we're not setting simple goals. They need to be specific and aligned with what you want to achieve.
Yeah. The next one is going to the all or nothing mindset. The second you have one day or one meal or something's off track, you feel like your world is absolutely ending.
Yes, and it's like this quote at the moment that's going around on socials, not quote, like
Real?
TikTok real trend. And it's like how they'll be like drawing their lip liner, and it's like, what is it?
You slightly mess up your lip liner, so you're just going to go.
And then you like draw
face.
on your whole face. It's not how it's going to work. If you miss a day in the gym, that's what it's kind of relating to. So like the text on the screen will be like, I missed a day in the gym. So then they just draw lip liner all over their face, or they're holding a basket of washing. One thing falls off, so they just drop the whole basket. So it's like, don't let one little thing make the whole thing fall apart. And that's where I think like discipline and habits come in, because when you start to build those habits, you'll realize that one day isn't going to break everything that you're trying to build. It's literally just learning from that, either one day off, or maybe you let something slide that day and that you need to set stronger boundaries. Like, again, taking those situations and learning from them so that it flows later in life, and it's not like, oh, I missed one day, let's just not go for the rest of the week.
With health and fitness, if you find yourself like a perfectionist, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. Anytime someone says they're a perfectionist, I'm like, no, you actually just like don't value the journey or anything like that, because you utilize or you use that as an excuse as to why you necessarily haven't done things, or you're constantly restarting. It's like, oh, I'm such a perfectionist. I have to meal prep my meals perfectly and track perfectly. And if I don't, it sends me into an absolute spiral. Like, no, that's actually just called like one, unorganized, or anxiety, all or nothing mindset, unhealthy relationship with food and the gym as well. Like, you have to be at a point in your fitness journey whereas 2 days off track, doesn't do anything. Just get back into routine. We're not starting fresh. We're getting back into routine. If you've missed your training session, it's okay. Like literally 1 day does not do anything to your progress. Just like training for 1 day does not make you muscle mummy. Like it's ages.
When you're in it at the beginning, it can feel like 1 day is everything. But it's like if you're training for a healthy lifestyle, you're just going to train for the rest of your life and not just like to get to next week with a six pack. It's not going to, it's going to not. Oh my God, I can't. I'm giving up, guys.
You're the only one who notices that you're glitching.
I'm full, like I can't get English out of my mouth.
You can't articulate your words.
No. Just need a second. Maybe it's the oxy shred.
Maybe it is the oxy shred. The other one is going to be pressure. And if you're doing a goal, especially around fitness, so let's say high rocks is a huge trend at the moment. If you're doing high rocks to have external validation or post on socials or because your friends are, you're not actually going to either one, get there or two, enjoy it because it's coming from an external validation place. If you actually want to do it internally, you are way more likely to succeed at achieving it and probably getting a PB and enjoying it. Your health and fitness has to come from a place of like want and desire, not you feel like you have to need to do something.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the same for me. Like a part of me would love to do high rocks, but that style of training just doesn't suit me. And it's not something I want to do long term. Like I could get up and train for turf and I feel like that's very different style of training. But the, I guess, intensity you need to put in for high rocks training just doesn't suit me. And I'm not going to sustain that long term. Like it's going to wreck my body and mentally I'm not ready to get up and do cardio 6 times a week and run and, do all the things. So that's just like not sustainable for me. And that just is like when you can come into that, that's like self-awareness, like we always say. So when you can actually go, no, I actually don't want to do this and that's what I want, that's self-awareness and you can move forward. Or like Lil said, if you're doing it because everyone else in your group is doing it or because that's what social media, that's what you think you might get followers from, good fucking luck to you.
Yeah, literally.
It ain't going to work.
No. So it's also not too late to start. Now is literally the perfect time. It's always the perfect time. It's always the right time. We're always waiting for things to settle down or not be as busy. But in reality, as humans, naturally as you get older, I swear, you just get busier and busier. More work comes as you succeed more, as you learn yourself, like relationships come and all of those things. So realistically, it's never going to be the right time. So that's why right now is perfect.
Yeah. I was going to say for myself, I literally just started my gym program Monday. 2 days ago, Monday, which was February 3rd. Third.
First week of Feb.
First week of Feb. And like I was training throughout Jan and just, did my thing. But I kind of like to let the new year settle, find my feet a little bit, see what's going on. The new year has started off absolutely wild. And I'm like, cool, I'm ready to start now. And it's like, you don't have to start because everyone else is new year, new me. You just get to like figure out, find your feet. Maybe you've moved, maybe you've started a new job, maybe you've had a really nice long break and you just need to ease back into it. It doesn't mean that you need to go literally balls against the wall and go 100 miles an hour because it's Jan 1st. And no matter if you're listening to this and it's March 13th or July 14th, you can still start today. And that could mean getting a coach for your fitness. That could mean getting a nutrition coach. That could mean just getting some advice from a friend who's in the industry or whatever that is, whatever you need to move forward to build good habits, you can start right now.
Yeah, and small, consistent steps at the end of the day that's actually going to get you where you need to be. It's not, like I said before, completely doing a 180. It's literally like, what can I do today that's going to help me the tiniest bit tomorrow? And it's always those smallest little things that make the biggest difference because if you try and do the huge things all at once, like you're not going to be consistent with that and it's not going to sustain. So try and do these small steps every day because that is going to accumulate and compound over time. Taylor and I spoke about a really good thing on her podcast, yesterday. She was talking about like the compound effect and gave an example of like brushing your teeth. So 1 day of like not brushing your teeth, you're not going to notice at all. 2 days, no one's going to notice. Like you might just feel like, oh, kind of gross. 1 week, you're probably starting to have a bit of bad breath. Like you kind of notice. 5 months of not brushing your teeth at all, other people notice, you notice.
Teeth are probably falling out.
Teeth are probably starting to fall out. So over 1 or 2 days, no difference at all. 5 months later, huge difference. So that's why it's so important to do these small little things every day because it has a huge compounding effect.
And that's where it's like when you talk into the fitness industry, you could be wanting to, you could think that you just need to train 5-6 days a week because everyone else is doing that. And that feels so overwhelming. So you don't end up training at all. Whereas you could go, okay, I want to start. Let's do 2 days a week. If you do 2 days a week over 5 months, you're going to see so much more progress than nothing for 5 months. Just because you thought 5 days was so overwhelming, you did nothing.
Yeah.
So break it down and go, okay, if that's so overwhelming, let's just do 2. That's so much better than nothing. Just do 1. Do a 30-minute session today.
Or if you are already advanced in the gym and 5 sessions a week is easy, it's then leveling up your mindset to be like, okay, it's 8 to 10 reps my coach prescribes me, or 10 to 12 reps. If you're constantly lowballing and always going for the 8 rep or the 10 rep or this lower level of the rep, if you always now start to alter your mindset to try and get that little bit more reps, that is what is going to accumulate and compound, because essentially 2 reps for 1 set does not feel like a much at all. In 6 months' time, that is like so many more reps you have done. So it's even little things like that. This isn't just for starting your fitness journey. It's also just leveling yourself up within that space.
Yeah. And it's just like Lil did at the end of last year, she started to feel that bit of burnout, was doing 5 sessions a week. And it's like, you might be comfortable doing 5 sessions, but not be pushing the weight, not be getting your PBs. So it's like, okay, can we drop down to 4? But those 4 are so much more intentional.
Yeah.
I've dropped down to 4, and as I said, I've started a new program with a new PT, which I haven't done since literally 2021.
Since Jackson?
Yeah. So I'm loving that. And just like the fact that our PT is like in around our gym as well. Just like have that extra push, and just like when I program myself, I'm like, well, I can do whatever I want. But if I know that George has programmed it, I'm like, well, I'm going to
And most
push
of the time
harder.
he's there watching too.
Yeah, because he's PTing in the corner.
Yeah.
It just gives you that little extra push. But some of his programming is 2 sets. I'm going so much harder and getting so much more out of the 2 sets than I was in the 3 sets, and maybe a bit of a higher rep range, whatever it is. But I'm just being so much more intentional. So maybe that means you need to pull back before you can go forward again.
If any coach prescribes 4 sets of lunges,
Stupid.
or if you're listening and you're a client, I've done that. So sorry
sorry.
about that. But right now, I will never prescribe 4 sets of lunges anymore.
I would have never have given anyone 2 sets of stuff. I'm like, unless you're like doing it something so specific.
Yeah.
But just as like a general program, like I would never do 2. And now I'm like, 2 is so beneficial.
Or right, in terms of like, you'd always do 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And now I'm like, wow, 2 is great. If you know how to push yourself in those 2 sets and warm up, don't just rock up and do your 2 sets.
Now it's also about reframing your mindset from I failed, I didn't go to the gym, or I've only gone 3 times this week instead of fine, to like, what have I learned?
This is my favorite.
Yeah, I actually had a discussion in a positive way with a client this morning, because she was like, I'm so proud of myself. I finally went to the gym 4 times last week. And I was like, that is awesome, and like so proud of you, because it's normally 3 and you finally got that 4th one in. But I was like, reflect on the last week. What did you change that actually allowed you to get the 4 sessions? Because it's all good and well to be like, yeah, I got 4 sessions. But if you don't know how, you're not actually going to be able to replicate that like week in, week out. So it's like, look back at the week. Were you a lot more organized with your time? Were you in a better mood? Did you have better sleep? Did you hit your nutrition more? Was things more chill? Like, what did you actually do in that week to help you get to that 4 sessions? So that's looking in a positive way. But then you can also look at it in like, I guess, a negative way. And if you have like only done the 3 sessions, you say like, oh my God, I failed. It's reframing your mindset as to like, okay, why have I failed in that way? And then making the change from there.
And that's where I think mindset work comes into it, because I feel like we are so lucky to have grown up in an elite sport and be athletes. So that push and that failure to learning is kind of you kind of grow up learning that kind of mindset. But if you haven't, and you really struggle to just kind of call everything a failure, once you fail, everything else goes down the drain, you need to be doing the mindset work. And I think when you start to put in the work with your mindset and start to see perspective shifts and find self-awareness, figure out what you like in the gym, what your body responds well to, is when you'll also see results in the gym and with training and nutrition. Because if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to stay on track. Because it's just, they're going to butt heads. Your brain is going to be negative Nancy, and it's just going to have, I guess, the reverse effect of what you're trying to achieve, if that makes sense. So I feel like mindset goes hand in hand with fitness and nutrition.
100%. Did you write that last top point?
External pressure?
No. What if you just shut up and start taking action?
Oh, yeah, I did.
No, I was like, I didn't write
what
that.
What inspired this is a reel. And it was like, I resonated with this reel, and it literally was like, what if you just shut up and just do it, or something like that.
Yeah.
I just reframed it to, what if you just shut up and start taking action? Because when I was at the start of my fitness journey and I was 10 kilos overweight and I was the most depressed, lost version of myself, all I gave myself was excuses. Yeah. All I said was, I'll start on Monday. I'll start tomorrow. One more piece of chocolate. Let me just stay in bed 5 more minutes. It turned into 3 hours. It was just constant excuses. And when I just got sick of that, I was like, what if I actually just shut up and just put in some work? Like just a little bit. A little bit, then when I said I was going to get up, I was going to get up. And it's making those little changes. So when I finally was like, what does like 1% look like every day? And this is like, you know, the 1%ers Club. And I think there's a book called the 1% Club or something like that. And a lot of, you know, successful people, whether it's in the business industry or the fitness industry, they talk about the 1%, because if you can just stop and focus on 1% for yourself each day, you're going to change 100% over the year, right? Yeah. So it's like we all try and go, okay, I want a 6-pack at the end of the year. I want to be able to squat 100 kilos. I want to lose 15 kilos, whatever it is. If you break that down to 1% each day, what does that look like? Because majority of you wouldn't even know what that goal is.
You guys know how busy Tori and I have been lately, and Papa Macros have been a time saver. They are a meal prep company that delivers ready-to-go meals straight to your door.
One thing that we love most is their clean ingredients, not using any seed oils or preservatives, which can be common amongst ready-to-go meals. The macros are incredible, and they have over 70 meals on the menu with different categories to fit your current goals.
Lucky for you, we have partnered with Papa Macros, so if you're struggling with meal prep, poor on time, or just wanting to switch it up, they are the perfect addition to your weekly plan. Just use code RAWREALITY for a discount on your next order. And you'll never get tired of eating the same meals, as they update their menu every month, so the variety is never ending. We hope you enjoy. We all fall into the victim mindset because it's so much easier to blame other people than to blame yourself.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to be like, I didn't get to the gym today because I had to stay back at work for 30 minutes. Okay, what happens if you just get home 30 minutes later? Like, it's not a big deal. We always find any excuse to not blame ourselves because we don't want to hurt our ego. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, we all put ourselves in a pedestal, so we don't want to like hurt that little person inside of us. We want to be the best possible version we can, so we're always going to find excuses. It's like you don't have groceries at home. Oh, I didn't have any groceries, so I just got takeaway. It was so much easier. Like, it's actually so much easier to go into Coles and let you get a pre-made dumb meal that you put in the microwave, and probably so much cheaper. Like, those little things, that little 1% switch makes the biggest difference. So it's just about getting out of that victim mentality.
Yeah, and when you're trying to protect your ego and make these excuses and blame other people, you're actually not protecting yourself, and you're not benefiting yourself later down the track, because you are setting yourself back from the goals that you're wanting to achieve.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting up and going to the gym. You're not getting up and making your bed. You're not going and getting your 10,000 steps a day. So it's like it just turns back down. And we say it all the time, it's the small things that make big things happen.
My favorite quote at the moment is, discipline is just a form of self-devotion. So it's just like, just to be disciplined is actually like you loving yourself. Yeah, self-love. Saying no to things is actually just a version of self-love. So try to switch your mindset in terms of like, nope, I'm not having that piece of chocolate because like I'm being good. It's like, oh, that doesn't actually make me feel as good. Like, those little mindset switches do make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Again, coming into the mindset work of like, when instead of like framing it negatively and being like, no, that chocolate's really bad for me. No, I'm actually just full. And like, I don't need that, but I can have it tomorrow if I want it.
Yeah.
And that, again, is self-awareness.
Yeah. And then motivation versus discipline. Motivation is literally a feeling. It's an emotion. It's not actually something that plays out every single day. You're motivated because you feel inspired for that 5 minutes, or you've seen a reel, or you're so excited to achieve a goal, which is great, but that's not going to last very long. Discipline has to take over, and that is just built from habits.
Let me tell you something.
I'm ready.
Do you think LeBron James was motivated every single day? Absolutely fucking not. Not any business person who's earning billions of dollars, not any athlete who's at the top of their sport flying private jets around has been motivated every single day of their life. They've probably been less motivated more than they have been, if that makes sense. And that's because they've built the discipline they need to get up and do the fucking things. And then when you build the discipline, it turns into the habits.
Do you think in prep, I'm like, woo, 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, can't wait, come at me. I have so much energy. Like, No.
Not once.
It's literally discipline and that habit. Like exactly like you said, you reckon Taylor Swift is excited to form back-to-back 3-hour shows? I can bet you not. But she fakes it and she acts like it.
I would be pretty excited. But not for like a whole year straight.
2 years.
Yeah.
3, if you will.
Yeah, and so it's like you think that, building the habits is hard. You're not going to have motivation every day. Build the discipline that builds the habits. And it's like I was saying, again, on Taylor's podcast, both of our podcasts with Taylor were absolutely phenomenal.
They were.
They're not out for a while, but as soon as they're out, you guys will hear the bonus episode on here as well. But also go support Taylor Lee's podcast, Simply Business. But we spoke about how if you do not know your why, nothing is going to drive your goals. So example, Lily, every day in prep, she doesn't want to fucking get on that Stairmaster for 30 minutes.
No, I don't.
Does she want to look good on stage and potentially win a pro card? Yes, she does. That why is so strong and it's getting her through that 30 minutes. It's getting her through the low calories. It's getting her through the mood swings, whatever it is. LeBron James wanting to win the NBA fucking grand final. Is that what they call it? You know what I mean.
Champs?
The
championships.
The championships. His why of winning the championships is getting up and doing the thing every single day. I remember hearing a stat on like how many hoops he used to shoot a day and comparing it to like how many he would shoot in a game. He would shoot like 10 times more a day than he would in a game. So he knew that he would get to the game and would never miss.
Yeah. There's a quote that I'm reading a book currently it's called The One Thing. And it said, people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future, which is the most like realist thing I've ever heard, because everyone wants to have a successful future. They want all of these things, but they're not willing to put the habits in place now that's actually going to dictate if they're going to have that successful future. So if you want, let's say, your dream body, your dream life, your dream career, your dream partner, what habits are you doing today that's actually going to allow you to do that?
Yeah. And when you say that, I think for me, like, think of my skin journey, right? And you think of that one thing and you put your one thing and your why together. For me, the one thing everyone told me to do to make my life easier was go on Rakuten. My why was having kids and being healthy and having a period and having healthy hormones. Is that Rakuten going to help? Absolutely not. So for me, the one thing just wasn't going to help that everyone else was saying, wasn't going to help my why. So my one thing was being holistic and sticking to that, supporting my why, supporting my future.
Bang.
Bing, buck, boom, buck, bing, buck, bam.
So a reminder that no one has it together 24/7. People literally think that everyone has it together. I had a talk with Morgan the other day.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, I want you to, because I'm speaking at her event on Sunday. And she's like, I want you to speak at this because it's like, I guess it looks like from the outside you have everything together. You probably don't, but it looks like you do. And I was like, I don't. I was like,
straight up don't.
If you know me, I do not have my shit together. But like, it probably is perceived that way. And like in reality, in comparison to most people, I probably do for a
25-year-old.
I was about to say, how old am I? For a 25-year-old. Wow, I feel young. I was about to say 26.
I feel old.
Oh, I feel young. For a 25-year-old, I feel like I have my life together. But it's stop comparing yourself to all of these other people, because in reality, behind the scenes, life is not what it looks like.
And we've heard so many stories this weekend, specifically just gone on. I had to mute a few creators online because I was just comparing myself. And then I heard either from them, because like I'm friends with them, or I know people who know them, and I just heard things and I'm like, wow, like they have their own shit. And like we preach this all the time. Like we have our own shit. Don't put us on pedestals. You know, Beyonce's got her own shit, Tate McRae, like whatever. And it's like you have to constantly remind yourself, whatever I'm going through, they're probably going through. Or, you know, they have their own version of it. And so no matter how successful someone is, you just have to stop and go, wait, they're human.
You literally
They actually have their own shit. Their room's probably a mess. Like Steph Claire Smith, someone posted on her question box saying like, since her ADHD diagnosis, can you share more of like your home? Because like people just find they're so messy. Posted a photo of her bedroom, not a mess everywhere, but like there was just cords and
like
a laptop.
mine?
Yeah, probably a little bit better.
Okay.
But like she also has a child and like there was just mess. And I was like, yeah, like not everyone's house is perfect like you see on socials. No one's going to post their dirty house on socials.
No.
Who's going to do that? No one, unless it's a before and after.
Literally.
Like, and it gets that effect. But like you have to just stop yourself in those tracks and go, wait, they are human, they have feelings, they have their own life, they have their own shit. And you move forward.
And interesting, like I wish I could post everything online, but like naturally you can only post like so much in reality. I just post a YouTube video that's going live tonight. There's a video of me like laughing at a cafe. 5 minutes before that video, I was crying, but you would not know in that video.
You should have filmed that. Was that when I sent you the message that day?
Yeah. It wasn't really.
She thought I was angry at her, guys.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling videoing. But like literally,
Yeah.
it was before you sent that message. Then you sent that message and I stopped crying because I was like, oh, finally, she's actually said something. So it just goes to show that like even what you post on social media, like Tori and I try and like post everything within our lives. But at the end of the day, there's going to be worse days than we actually post. So it's also knowing that there's so much shit going on behind the scenes.
And it's even hard to like try and articulate those shit days. Like,
yeah.
Because you don't want to come across as like complaining and like just being a little wah baby. Like I try and share so much and then when I have those bad days, I'm like, yep, let's talk about it. And it's like, how do I articulate like what the fuck I'm going through?
It's also, if other people are involved, I can't fucking bring them into it. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if you're fighting with your partner, well, that's unfair on, let's say, Kade or Jackson to bring them into the situation. Maybe they don't want to be. Most of the time, like, we don't give a fuck, like, what we speak about. Yeah. But it's still just, like, you don't want to cross that line.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So just remember that.
Yeah.
People have their own shit. Okay. We have some tips.
We do.
We have 7 hot tips for you
7
guys.
just feels clean because 7 is a lucky number and you guys are in for a lucky year.
Luck. Yeah.
It does.
Okay. First one is probably the most important. This is top 7 tips for our fitness tips, by the way. First one is pre and post workout meals. Emphasis on the pre-workout meals. Yeah. Because I feel like we're getting better as a society, but it's still learning that you need to fuel your body before you train. Mm-hmm. It could be as small as half a banana, a rice cracker with honey, or it could be a full meal if that's what suits your tummy. Sometimes I have a full meal, sometimes I have half a bagel with peanut butter and jam. Whatever works for you, you will notice the difference of your training intensity when you fuel your body beforehand.
Literally, you need quick absorbing carbs. Like, even if you're training at 5 a.m., that's a question I get a lot. Like, what can I eat at 5 a.m.? Like, I don't feel like eating. Medjool dates. Like, so light on your stomach, actually really high in carbs. Put peanut butter in them as well. They're so fucking good. And if you pair fats with carbs as well, it slightly slows down your digestion a little bit. I actually had a client the other week and she was like, halfway through my sessions, I felt like I was like crashing. And she actually implemented this herself, so go queen. But she started adding like also some fats to her pre-workout meal. And she's like, and then my energy sustained the whole time. So it's even just like incorporating carbs mainly and then some fats. And you'll be good to go.
Because that's why I love like when you would do like bagel and jam and it's like that carb. And then I was like, I have to have some sort of fat because I would notice my energy would like be different. So that's why I have peanut butter and jam. It tastes fucking elite, firstly. Yeah. Can have it any time of the day. You bit of carbs, bit of fat, a little bit of sugar.
You're good to go.
I'm on one.
Post-workout, there's like so many like different pieces of advice. People say 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be. I just say as soon as you can after you work out, eat something.
Yeah, I'm generally pretty hungry as soon as I finish training.
Exactly. And most people, I just say have some carbs to replenish your glycogen stores, basically to have more energy. And then also have some protein to build up that muscle, to repair, to actually just help to build muscle too. And you're good to go. Like don't overcomplicate it. Just do what feels good for you and you're fine, whether that's a snack after or a full meal.
And it's like you don't need to finish your workout and scoff down a meal because everyone says...
Or a pre-workout shake. Yeah. Sorry, a post-workout shake.
Yeah, because everyone says you need to have it straight away. If you're not hungry, you don't need to force feed yourself.
Yeah.
You can take your time out of the gym, go home, have a shower, whatever you're doing, go to work, start working, and then in, I don't know, maybe an hour you're like really hungry, then have that really good quality dense meal to like refuel your body. But if everyone's body's going to be different and, you know, you just have to listen to your body because when you start listening to your body is when you will see the results for your body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Number 2.
This is personally my favorite one. And if you want to grow glutes, you have to follow this. It's slowing down all your reps. It can be so boring, but it's going to be the biggest thing that changes your like style of training. Tori and I did a mic'd up session last week and we were a little bit under a time constraint. So we decided to go we had to kind of go back to back in terms of like working out. Holy shit, it felt like cardio. I felt like I actually could isolate like my specific muscle groups and all of the other muscles were coming into play to help it. If you're doing hip thrusts and you're smashing through the reps, your quads are coming to play, your hamstrings are coming to play, your lower back and your glutes. If you slow it down, you just focus on your glutes, you're going to have way more benefit from doing that. So slow it down way more than you think.
Yes, period. Number 3, stop focusing on the destination, focus on the journey.
Yeah.
The second I was like sick of my shit, like I said, I was like, if I just shut up and put in some work, maybe I'll see some results. And I was able to go and realize this isn't going to be a 2-week, even a 6-month thing. This is going to be a 12-month, 14, 16-month thing where I'm going to see progress and get to the end goal that I want, but I have to realize it's going to be a journey. And the second I was like, I'm not going to lose 10 kilos in 6 weeks, I was like, okay, what's the goal? What do I want to achieve? How do I want to feel? Let's move every single day towards that goal, no matter how long it takes.
Because if you achieve that goal, it's like, then what?
Mm.
Then you lose that motivation and that desire. Or if something changes within your life, that goal actually isn't relevant anymore, you tend to lose yourself and lose your habits because you're always striving to achieve something. Focus on, this is actually going to go into tip number 4,
Yes.
which is focus on your feeling, not aesthetics. Focus on actually how you feel every day, because that is actually going to take you way further than being like, in 6 months' time, I want this exact result, because most likely you're probably not going to achieve that in 6 months, or you have a different goal come up. So focus every day on actually just doing something that makes you feel better.
Yeah. And when you can focus on your feeling is when you will start to fall in love with the process. Yeah. And that's when fitness becomes a part of your lifestyle, because you're not just training just to have those abs or a big ass or whatever it is. You're training because it makes you feel good, and you'll actually notice a bigger difference in your life, in your happiness, in your moods, in your energy as well. Plenty of benefits. That was number 4. Number 5, stop being a bitch and start lifting some big girl weights. It was kind of the only way that I could put that.
We are so much stronger than we know.
Yeah.
Like every single one of you, I promise you can probably lift heavier than you are. And yes, you want to focus on form. You want to focus on not injuring yourself. But at the end of the day, you got to push yourself.
And this is where we bring back in the learning over failure. If you pick up those extra 2 kilos and you fail, then you know. You need to maybe push a little bit harder on the lower weights or do some less reps at the heavier weight and just get comfortable with it. If you're just trying to figure out what your kind of rep range is or what your weight range is, you have to play with weights, because until you pick them up and you just think in your head, oh, those 12.5s, I could never do that, then that's your limitation. So how about you just pick them up? Just pick them up off the rack,
try.
put them next to you, and then put it back, and then just see.
Yeah, I, for years, was doing 5 kilo lateral raises. That just felt like the number you do for lateral raises. I don't know why, but as girls, is that just like what everyone does, is 5 kilos lateral raises? Personally, may have made that up in my head, but I just thought that's what...
For a while there, and then I was
did.
like, I actually can do 7.
Yeah. So my shoulders weren't growing for a very, very long time. But I was like, no, lateral raises, focus on form, going super light, just get that burn. Guys, I've been trying to grow my delts, but I can't even tell you how long.
She's doing delts 4 times a week. To explain it.
On leg day 2. I only train 4 days a week, so
Yeah.
we're going ham. The second, I was like, oh, let me just try. I've gone up and up and up and up in weight, and I'm actually now growing because I'm training my shoulders with intensity. I think upper body, where a lot of the time, like, girls can train lower body quite hard. Like, I'm very much similar to that. I can go ham on lower body.
Yeah, I'm
upper
opposite.
body, like, I can train hard, but I don't think I know my limits as much.
We're the opposite.
We are very much the opposite. So I just, like, I've always played it safe. The second I started to step out of that comfort zone and really push myself, my upper body started growing. So who would have thought that actually going up in weight makes a difference?
Yeah. You're a lot more capable of
Everything.
Whoa. Yes, everything.
Number 6, second last one. If you want to gain muscle or achieve, quote unquote, like a lean toned look, you have to stop doing cardio and lift weights. Resistance training is probably one of the healthiest forms of exercise you can do.
If you want to lose 10 kilos, do some weight training.
Literally, do not get on the Stairmaster.
Yeah, no.
That's
because
for a later date.
as a female, and again, prefacing, everyone is different. I fully get it. As a female, when our cortisol rises, our stress levels rise, our body's under pressure, your body's in fight or flight. Majority of the time, your body is going to keep everything it can to survive in that fight or flight mode, aka gaining weight or keeping the weight that is there, not losing weight. The second you can lower the stress, lower the cortisol, slow down and chill out, keep your heart rate down, and you can still sweat and push intensity. Like my sessions at the moment, my heart rate is up in the working sets. We're relaxing on the rest, obviously. And that's when you're going to see, that's when I saw the biggest growth. I was training twice a day cardio, 2 F45 sessions a day.
And then double F45s.
And on top of 3 to 4 hours of acro a night. what did I do? Just kept gaining weight over day after day after day. It was a new kilo every single day because my body was so stressed, and it was just trying to hold on to everything to keep me alive. So the second I dropped everything, focused on steps, literally walking can change your life. And I think if you're trying to lose weight, my biggest recommendation to anyone that kind of comes to me for advice is to stop everything, focus on your nutrition and your steps for like a month. Just do that. Then adding in 2 to 4 weight sessions a week, depending on where you're at and what you want, and watch the shift happen.
The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn too. So naturally, what's the point of getting on the stairs when you can just build muscle and that's just going to burn more calories anyways? It is like the most healthiest thing. It's good for like your mind, your like mental health as well. It's good for your physical health. So, and also like long term to prevent all sorts of like diseases and issues and things like that. So get into the gym.
And you can also lift your kids, throw your kids
literally
around,
carry grocery bags, like be a big girl.
Yeah.
And go lift some weights. Yeah. You're not going to get bulkier. We're trying.
And it's like, this doesn't mean you have to cut out cardio. No. Like Lily and I dabble every now and then.
Yeah.
Because we enjoy it and we do it for fun. We're
and
not
our heart health as well.
And our heart health, for sure. We're not doing it to smash our bodies and to lose weight. We're doing it for the enjoyment. When I do cardio, I'm still trying to keep a steady heart rate. I'm not there to thrash myself because my body doesn't respond well to that.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works. Number 7 is 80% diet and 20% training. As I mentioned before, my biggest piece of advice when someone is trying to start their journey is to strip everything back, focus on their nutrition. Focus on your whole foods, focus on your fruits, your vegetables, your proteins. Don't be afraid of carbs. They're so, so important and they taste fucking delicious and we all deserve to eat carbs. And then focus on your training and your steps and you'll see a shift.
Because at the end of the day, you can't out-train a bad diet.
No.
You can't out-train a bad lifestyle.
And again, everyone's so different. Someone could be eating Maccas every single day and you wouldn't even notice and they might just naturally have a lean body. Their insides, their gut, their long-term health. See you fucking later. So no matter, you know, what they look like and what you're comparing yourself to, no matter who is eating a bad diet, there's going to be something going on, either right now or long-term with their health, with their physical health, mental health, insides.
And then it's almost like once you have that 80 to 20% like good, then you can probably double more in training, but that does not mean miss out on your nutrition. So it's like, for example, Tori and I are very much like on our nutrition. So we actually probably focus way more on our training because our nutrition just comes second nature to us. So it's now probably our training is more like 50% almost, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we're throwing nutrition out the window. So if you're just starting, focus on your nutrition and then the results will come.
If someone like held a gun to your head and said you have to eat takeout every single meal for the rest of your life, but you could still train, or you couldn't train and you had to, but you could eat good food, what would you choose?
No training.
Same.
Yeah.
Because who fucking wants to eat takeout every meal?
I would feel so shit.
Even thinking about it, I want to vomit.
It makes me feel like
and like I could walk and be fine.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, great. Thought you were going to say that. Anyway, we hope that helps.
Yes. I thought you were going, normally I have this wavelength, but just then it went out the window.
We just stared at each other.
Especially just leading into the rest of this year, really take on everything we said, and we hope that things that we said throughout the Jan and our rewind episodes, you also took into consideration because there's some really good tips in there as well. And if anything stood out to you today, comment on this episode. There were like 9 comments on this episode. I checked this morning. So comment down your favorite thing that you learned or you took away from and would love to hear it.
Yes, we love you guys so much and we'll be back in your ears next week.
Bye.
Bye.